Dream observation is observation from memory. That is to say, at the time one notes a dream, some time has already passed since the moment the dream occupied the mind. Some will use this as an argument to dismiss any attempt at remembering and reflecting upon our dreams when we awake, as if the dream was forever lost, washed down a river of oblivion. Indeed, the act of remembrance already provokes distrust when it is applied to the clearly conscious phenomena of waking life. Should we all the more distrust it when it comes to the obscure phenomena of dreams? As the French psychologist Léon Marillier expressed, "It is rare that upon waking we can tell our dream as we dreamed it. Even the account of a dream written upon waking merits, as regards its details, only limited confidence." This difficulty seemed discouraging to Marillier, who adds in the same passage, "We have no way of ensuring the accuracy of our memories." However, the difficulty is not insoluble. We can criticize dream memory, acknowledge the distorted memory that we retain of it, but with a view to finding beyond the distortion the truth that still lies in it, and that is waiting to be re-expressed. According to the German thinker Heinrich Spitta, when we want to tell or write our dream, we are forced to add the logical connection that was missing, the coordination in time and space that did not exist. But his idea remains confused, because he speaks of waking up as if it were an instantaneous transition from sleep to wakefulness, a moment without duration in which nothing is accomplished except an abrupt illumination of the dark consciousness. This is why he views the work of logical organization as taking place after waking up, to meet the requirements of written or oral language. Egger says for his part, to show how perfidious he believed the partial forgetting of dreams is, "If we then begin to recount what we have not forgotten, we are exposed to completing by imagination the incoherent and disjointed fragments provided by memory. We become an artist without knowing it." Thus, the dream story would not only be unfaithful because of forgetting, it would also be unfaithful because of addition and construction. Another French psychologist of the beginning of the 20th century, Paul Tannery, expresses himself as follows: "In reality, we do not remember our dreams, but the reconstruction that we make of them at the moment of our awakening, a reconstruction which is based on the fleeting images still present in the memory, and also the logical work, unconsciously begun during the dream, to connect the successive scenes together, a work which prolongs their apparent duration and already alters the scenes." All these psychologists therefore agree to suppose that dream representations undergo construction work by means of which the written or narrated dream is formed, but they only express themselves with great reserve on important points, such as the time at which this construction was made, the nature, logical, aesthetic, or verbal, of the construction, the cause which determines it, and they do not seem to attribute much importance to this work, in which they see almost only a source of embarrassment for scientific research. In this video, we will explore the idea that the dream is the product of a double, indissociable mental work. One is done during sleep, the other is done after sleep, upon and during waking. According to the logical coherence theory of dream recall, the set of representations that the sleeping mind provides to the waking mind follows a very clear progression. It goes from incoherence to coherence. The theory holds that the inherent incoherence of the dream is made coherent by the effort of the waking mind to understand it. The supposed incoherence of the dream consists mainly in the logical impossibility of events following one another in the order in which the dream presents them. This theory posits that the dream world does not conform to the world we know from our experience of the day before. It is contrary to the best established facts of experience. The dream presents to us an immediate simultaneity of facts, which in the so-called real world could only succeed one another on the condition of being separated by a long interval of time. It presents to us as happening in the same place facts which could only be real if they occurred in different cities. It ignores the relationships of succession, coexistence, local situation. The dream contradicts all these laws of logic. The logical work that is done upon awakening should therefore aim to bring order to this set of chaotic events, to make it a sequence of facts as similar as possible to what the real world shows us. According to this hypothesis of the logical reconstruction of dreams, the world of dreams is incoherent. That is to say that things seem to happen there contrary to the laws of reason. For example, there is an inconsistency in terms of time if we first find ourselves a child, then suddenly an adult, or vice versa. There is spatial inconsistency if one moment one finds oneself in New York, the next moment in Los Angeles. Generally speaking, there would be inconsistency whenever the sequence of imaginary events is such that it could not occur in the real world. The waking self now finds itself in the presence of a general problem, which can be posed as follows. What was I doing just now? Or rather, what did I think I was doing? According to logical theory, it will only be when the representations of the dream are logically coordinated together from these different points of view that we can consider the dream as logically organized. Now, at the moment when the mind tries to realize logically what it was doing in its dream, the general law of logical consciousness must apply. That is to say, the self now cannot grasp more than one image or scene at a time. The scenes which unfolded simultaneously during sleep are therefore grasped in succession by our retrospective attention. The logical mind has difficulty understanding the imaginary world of the dream. When we adopt the point of view of the logical incoherence of dreams, we are never able to properly remember our dream. We desperately attempt to reconstruct it according to the laws of logic, which we naively believe are the ultimate laws of reality. But in doing so, we remain unable to understand the dream. We end up giving up, ultimately dismissing the dream as crazy and illogical. We grasp at the fading narrative, desperately trying to piece together a logical sequence. But this attempt at logical reconstruction might be the very reason why the dream's message remains so elusive. Dreams aren't emails. They're not meant to be delivered in a clear, concise manner. They're poetic movements of the unconscious, which carry a symbolic and emotional texture. Trying to force them into a linear, logical format renders them inaccessible. In fact, we block ourselves off from experiencing the imaginal reality of the dream by creating a chasm between the supposedly unreal and incoherent nature of the dream and the supposedly logical causal chain of the real. The bridging between the two worlds of waking and dreaming thus becomes impossible. If you want to better understand this deep intertwining between the imaginary and the real, between waking and dreaming, you should watch our full-length video, which is a close look at the continuity between dreaming and waking. Click on the link in the upper right corner and watch it to follow up on this one. Ultimately, the key to unlocking a dream's meaning lies in a more creative approach. Think of it like interpreting a piece of art. Instead of searching for a linear narrative, focus on the feelings the dream evoked. They will be the pathways into the dream's deeper meaning. Don't just recount the dream linearly. Write it down as a poem. Even paint a picture depicting the key elements. Or even act it out again. Through an engagement of the imaginal function of your mind and body, you'll re-embody and relive the dream. This is the only way to connect to the primordial, unspoken, unconscious material of the dream, and to begin understanding and integrating it. Ultimately, understanding a dream is an active, embodied personal exploration. Through this process, the dream's message can unfold organically. So next time you wake from a puzzling dream, Resist the urge to analyze it logically. Instead, grab your journal and embark on a poetic journey to unlock the hidden wisdom of the Imaginal. Our Dream Analysis app can be your companion on this journey. It's been created not as a one-size-fits-all solution, but to foster your own unique process of exploration. You'll find the link to download it in the description of the video.